Welcome to the Quick Stop Formula One podcast. My name is Nyasha, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Not joining me today is Thandie. Thandie is actually in America living her best life, and we couldn't synchronize the diaries. So I know you guys, you love Thandie more than you love me. So what I'm gonna do is me and Thandie are gonna have a quick conversation tomorrow, and we're gonna put out the Thandie cut of this podcast, and that will be a little treat for you guys who want to listen to that. But to make up for it, I've come with two guests today, not one but two incredible guests. First and foremost, look, we had this guy on, I think in May, right? And since then, this guy has got married. He's, this guy is bought a Lamborghini. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I got a Lamborghini.
Am I still?
There's bomb drops. I was thinking, what the hell is that?
Yeah. This guy has changed his name from Taser to Tomi Music. Bro, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. I'm doing good. It's been a good year.
There you go.
I'm glad to be back on the podcast, man.
Yeah, we've upgraded the things that you've been on.
Trust me, I never all these things. You didn't have that before. This is some next level.
Bro, how are you doing, man? How's it going?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. You know, life's good. Just enjoying the Formula One season. Well, kind of enjoying, but we'll get to that. But yeah, man, I'm just vibing, man. Enjoying my life, married life, and just
married life. I forgot the TV show as well. This guy is on a TV show on Channel 4. Oh my God. We'll get back to that later in the show, but congrats, bro, on all your success. I'm glad to have you back on. And also joining us. Look, Paris, you've been on the show more times than anyone. You are our most favorite guest. No one's been on this show as much as you. This is your third time. I need to give you a hat-trick ball. Thank you for coming on. Look, we've got
You're very welcome.
On the chicane. Let me give you a round of applause. You deserve a round of applause as well. There you go.
I feel like we should have maybe done mine first since we had all the bombs dropping for Tomi.
Yeah, but no,
it's cool. It's cool.
Like your
I'm
family.
Happy to be here as always. Literal family. I'm the extra sister. When you don't have Thandie, you get me. So
I now feel bad. I'm like, I should no,
it's cool.
I should call my cousin more often, actually. Or I should just call them when I'm in trouble. I'm sorry, but thank you for coming on the show. And guys, look, we get a lot of tweets on our account. We get a lot of interaction. I love you guys. Before I get into anything else, please subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, all of that stuff. I always forget. Do you know what I mean? Give us some love. But I don't think there's been an episode of the podcast that's been as eagerly anticipated as this one, because our boy Lewis Howard, Charlie, get a what do you mean? 101 victories. He's done it in style, and he has reduced the gap in the standings to Max Verstappen to just 12 points. 3 races to go. What a season we are having. Before we get into just like the whole minutia of what was a crazy weekend, Tomi, it's been a while obviously since we've had you on. How are you finding this season, this topsy-turvy season? It's a season that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, no, it's been you know what, I'm in two minds. Like, I've enjoyed the vibe of it, and I've enjoyed the competitiveness, and how, because, you know, everyone's kind of stopped developing their cars, it's almost an equal playing field amongst the separate divisions within Formula One.
Yeah.
So you've got Mercedes and Red Bull up ahead, and then you've got the Ferraris, the McLarens, and Alpines all kind of fighting for victories as well, which is pretty cool. And then it's nice to see Williams finally get some decent points, even though some of them
a bit fugazi.
But yeah, no, it's been a good season. But I think overall, I'm a bit disappointed with the conduct of Red Bull. I think it's kind of like what the narrative they've been painting about, you know, the competitors, and the toxicity is just a bit too obvious now, and it's a bit too much. But other than that, I've enjoyed the season. I thought it's been lit, man. Yeah,
it has been. And look, I think we'll definitely have to get to Red Bull at some point with everything that's kind of happened this weekend. Paris, you guys have been documenting the season. It's not even that long since we last had you on, to be honest. But
Yeah.
When did you guys come on? Was it after?
I actually can't remember. I'm
I
not
don't
even going to try
remember.
and remember. My
Yeah, no,
brain's
I'm
not
not
going
even
to
gonna
stretch
try.
far this evening. No, we've been obviously like doing all of our pods simultaneously with you guys. This is our first year as well, doing it. So I've never actually looked into a season this intensely as I have like
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
But I think it's been a good season to kind of follow, if that kind
Yeah.
of makes any sense. If it was a good year to start on, I think.
100%. I mean, look, what a year to start, what a season. And when you're talking about things to follow, let's get into let's go back to Friday. And we have a situation where we have qualifying on Friday night. It's great. I think, I don't know, what are your thoughts on the new format? Tommy, do you have any thoughts on the new format? Do you like, because I don't think this first spin race for Silverstone, so I think you were during the Spanish Grand Prix. So what are your thoughts on like the sprint format? Are you a fan? Are you like do you want like just the old way?
Listen, let me tell you something. Sprint is garbage, man. It is literally the most garbage. I don't even know why they're trying to force it down our throats, but it's clear that they need to sell tickets. They want to
Yeah.
they want to make more money, and if you can make money on the Saturday as well as the Sunday, then that's But it's not working, man, because we're just
No?
getting a mini race, and I just
In
think
the sprint race, get rid of that.
Get rid of
Like,
I
it.
think
just change it. I don't like it. I don't like the
I
way
think
it works right now.
if you're gonna have a sprint race, it just has to be a bit more dynamic. Like there has to
Yeah.
be
Would
everyone.
you
I feel like everyone should be on the same tires, and I don't know, man. Just switch it up, man. Because
do you
right now it's
reckon
just a
like
mini
a
race.
do you reckon like a would you be a fan of, say, a reverse grid potentially?
Nah, that's garbage as well, man. Like imagine you don't. All you have to do is what you mean. So the slowest cars start first.
Well, I guess like having something where maybe having I don't know, like qualifying. So the qualifying is done for the race, but then for the sprint race, it's a
They flip
reverse
it
grid.
over.
Yeah, and all
I
the
think
top
that's
10 is
garbage as well,
no.
man. That's not really happening, man.
They kept
It's
saying this weekend that the Lewis going through the pack was a kind of like, yeah, let's do sprint races because it
Yeah.
shows that it will work. And I'm like, actually, I don't think it does, because if you bring everybody to the back, it's just going to be the same story as in a
exactly.
few laps they'll all be at the front again. It
It's gonna.
doesn't
It's not
doesn't
banging at
change
all.
anything.
I've never seen a sport that rewards people for being the slowest by putting them first. Like, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. That's like imagine like you're doing athletics and they say, "Oh, the slowest people they get a head start," and then
Yeah.
you guys go. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. I think they need to just. I would prefer maybe a one-shot qualifying where you get one hot lap and then you have to really like, and maybe some people go one at a time and then we just do a
Yeah.
20-minute qualifying session, bang, 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 bang. That would be fly. But right now, I'm not feeding sprint races.
I
Fair.
literally said the same thing after Silverstone. So after the first sprint race, on our video, I literally said the exact same thing. I said, I think what you need is like something where you can see the individual kind of pace of the cars.
Yeah.
And then you can really see like the Ferraris versus the McLarens, for example. Like it would be really good to see them just on a like one pace lap shootout. Who has the best car? It's much easier, I think.
Yeah.
Also, what bothers me about sprint qualifying is it makes Friday's qualifying obsolete. It's like,
Yeah, like
what's the point of watching it on Friday? It
Yeah.
has no impact on the race. It
Yeah.
just pushes everything to a day where people are mostly at work, and who's going to even really watch it?
yeah, it's
I
not
just
banging.
think it should be its own thing, and I don't think it should impact on Sunday's race.
Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, okay? And if I'm playing advocate for the bosses of F1, I'm devil's advocate because these men are wicked. But okay, so let's say they're saying, but the youngers want short format. Look at 2020. Look at, I don't actually know any other sport. I'm trying to think of other like short format sports, but the youngers, they're looking at their phone all the time. They don't want these long things. Like, can you have some sympathy with, I guess, Friday practice? What's the point of Friday practice? Like two Friday practice. No one needs to see two sessions of Friday practice. So surely a competitive race is better than watching cars go around on, hard tires doing long race setup.
I think I heard the 2020 argument. cricket is 5 days long.
Yeah.
Nobody is sitting down to, even the people who watch cricket don't sit down and watch cricket for 5 days. They fall asleep in the stands. It's not the same thing. Like, racing's a couple of hours. It's a similar length. All right, you have a 2-hour time limit, but it's a similar length to a football game. It's not really that long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think things like practice and stuff, the reason maybe the younger people or the new people who are watching the sport don't get into it is because it's not explained to them in a way that they can understand and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if you really want to switch it up, all the teams should just put their third driver, the young drivers, and then do that as a sprint race. I would watch that. Because if you said, we're going to have, Esteban Gutierrez versus Nick DeFries and all these people, I'd be like, yo, this is lit, man. Seeing new people driving the cars. They should do that. I think that would be quite fun to watch. But right now, nah, man, I'm not. Like, if you give your test drivers and your younger drivers an opportunity to win you points, like maybe on the sprint race, and it doesn't affect the mad standings, it only affects the constructors.
Yeah.
Nah, that's something. That's a good idea. I need to take my peoples up. That idea is fire.
Take that to Ross Broad.
Trust me.
This guy's just ripping.
I think that would be cold. Like, imagine seeing all the younger drivers and all the result affects is the constructor standing. That would be so lit. I reckon that would be amazing to watch.
And also, and I think that's another thing that people have tried to say is, this season, the F2 season still hasn't finished. But they've not raced, for time. They had like a massive break, and because they had, did different rounds all over the place. And it's like, if you could elevate F2 to being something that people would want to watch and tune in with and get involved with, then that is better than just giving us a nonsense race.
Exactly.
The sprint race. My true feelings on it, I'm not as heated as you two about it, but you know what? I don't mind the Friday night or late Friday evening entertainment, but I do get that it's such a clear money grab. I think I can't see past the money grab, and obviously if I next year I do want to go to a couple of Grand Prix. And I guess I'll be happy for it there because, I guess if I bought a weekend ticket, it'll be more fun for me to see a race than to see practice. But at the same time, the format has to change. Hopefully next season with cars running closer to each other, the whole, this new formula, we're going to get overtaking. It's going to be easier. All of these things, maybe that makes it better. But I think Hamilton was the reason why I was entertaining this weekend. I'm pretty sure that was the reason it was entertaining. Was it in?
It was definitely the
Monza?
reason it was entertaining that in Silverstone, because I remember Hamilton winning at the end and me going fucking crazy. Even though it was just the sprint.
Exactly. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure in Monza as well, nothing happened. But they tried to. Maybe someone was at the back and they made up a few places. But yeah, I think it needs to be changed. But we'll see. But on Friday, Lewis Hamilton qualified in pole position by about 0.4 per second. We're all thinking, wow, this is great. Championship's on. Obviously he's going to qualify at the front for the sprint race. But look, if he finishes first, then he'll be sixth. And then from sixth, we can still get it because he had to take a 5-place grid penalty. So we knew that wherever he qualified after the sprint race, he would get a 5-place grid penalty. And then Friday night, we get the news that he is being investigated, and this we don't get the result until about an hour before the sprint race. Tommy, I'll come to you, and then Paris will come to you. What I guess the rear wing was a malfunction, so it broke basically. For those who kind of don't fully understand, the rear wing, the DRS flap opened more than it is allowed. I think it's supposed to be 85 millimeters. I read somewhere that the discrepancy was 0.2 of a millimeter.
It was 0.02 of a millimeter or 0.04. It was something stupid.
Of a millimeter. So we know how small a millimeter is. it was a malfunction. So it wasn't. Toto said that across the whole rear wing, it wasn't like all the way across. It was at the right hand side. So just a little part of the wing had broken, but it was enough to cause the break in the regulations, and therefore, the FIA deemed it a disqualification from qualifying, and Hamilton would essentially start from the back in the sprint race. Tommy, what are your thoughts on the disqualification? Well, the decision to disqualify Hamilton, I guess. Do you think it's those are the rules, or do you think there's maybe a mistake that was made?
If I'm putting on my fairness hat, I think what the rules are the rules, in it. Like you have 0.85 or whatever the 0.85 millimeter opening at the maximum point. If you're exceeding it, you're exceeding it. My only issue, I've got a few issues actually. The time it took them to make a decision, that was ridiculous. And then also the fact that I'm pretty sure other teams have been changing broken parts in Parc Ferme and they haven't been penalized.
Tell them.
I'm not sure why they weren't given an opportunity to change it themselves. I mean, we've seen it. We saw it this weekend with Red Bull. We saw it previous weekend with Red Bull. We saw it the previous weekend with Red Bull after every qualifying session. I remember even last weekend, we saw them duct taping that thing up, like doing all this. I'm like, bro, like this isn't making sense. But you know what? It is what it is. They took the penalty. They took it on the chin. They just said, you know what? The next day, we're just going to work extra hard. So rules are rules, but I think there needs to be more consistency amongst how the rules are governed within the different teams.
Yeah, 100%. Paris, I guess. Yeah. How did you feel as someone obviously you're following and you're gonna have to report on all of this? Are you reporting with your fairness hat on, or does your kind of fandom make you slightly annoyed at the FIA?
I think if it had just been the disqualification, I probably wouldn't have thought much of it.
Okay.
I got the general feeling this weekend that there was a little bit of a vendetta against Mercedes. And I think 100%. That was what made me kind of look back at it and be like, hold on a second. Like, okay, was this actually kosher? Like, was this fair? Because like Tomi said, rules are rules, and essentially, to be fair to the FIA, what they basically said was that had Mercedes, or I don't even think they said this, but what was kind of generally acknowledged in the paddock was, had Mercedes found the fault and repaired it themselves before the FIA had got to do the little 1D trick, then they probably would have not been disqualified, because essentially they would have repaired it and they wouldn't have been able to get the gauge through. So they, even though it might have had a bit of sticky tape or whatever on it to hold it together, they would have still passed it. So had they found it, but then you are literally splitting hairs. Like, the amount that it went through was a ridiculously tiny amount. And I think what was key was that Toto Wolff basically said that remember, these cars are nearly like
2 meters or something.
2 meters wide, right?
Yeah,
like they're 1.8 wide. Yeah. So you've got like a really, really long span. And for the 3/4 of the way, they're going through with this thing, and it's fine. So you could tell that it wasn't intentional. You could tell that it's something. And also, it was tested before the race, so it wasn't just tested after the race. And they found out that something's like maybe amiss. It was tested before the race, and it passed. And it was tested again after the qualifying. And it didn't pass. So to me, that shows that something's happened during the race. And what they're basically saying is, okay, well, it should be able to deal with whatever loads and all this kind of stuff. But also with the test, I feel like it's a human error kind of test, because they put I'm getting real technical, but this is how much it annoyed me. Because they put the gauge through and they have to apply, they said that just touching it wouldn't go through. But they have to apply pressure, and they applied up to 10 newtons of pressure. So that's basically taking your hand and kind of shoving it through a little bit. And with anything, like if you're sticking a plug in a wall or whatever, if you put a little bit of pressure, it's going to go in. So I feel like, I don't know, to me, it was something that they could have been lenient with, and they chose not to be. And that's looking at the whole weekend, they did that a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, look, we're looking at a sport that let's just not beat around the bush, yeah? They have been trying to take this title off Mercedes for a minute now.
From last season, bro. Changing the rules.
But they've changed the whole rule. There was no need to change the rules, okay?
Yeah.
There was we could have just gone into a new season with the same cars we had last year, because obviously it's like a stopgap season because of the regulation change that got pushed back. We could have just had the same cars. Fine, but no, we have a directive which is clearly aimed at slowing down Mercedes and helping out other teams. Fine, we'll deal with that. We get silly decisions throughout the season from the FIA, but this weekend has just felt like Thandie likes to come in here and talk about conspiracy theories, and most of the time I just laugh at her, because really, like, what are we doing here? Like, are we really going to be conspiracy theorists? But I've never felt as much like I'm watching an absolute farce as I have this weekend.
It was like a pantomime.
It's like, come on,
it's not making sense.
It's not making sense.
Time, what's his name? Johnny Herbert, or whatever his face is. He was on there. Even he was just like, what? Like, some of the decisions, Ted Kravitz was like, even with the gauge and the disqualification, Kravitz was just like, I don't know why they made this decision, but like, you can tell it's so blatant that it's baffling people in the paddock that have been in the sport for years.
It's not making sense. To disqualify someone from qualifying for a part braking. And I also, by the way, this is not like Sebastian Vettel. I just want to say, like, this is nothing like Sebastian Vettel running out of fuel, okay?
Yeah, because is very different.
This is not that, because Sebastian Vettel and the team know how much fuel is in that car. From the moment that car leaves the garage, they're fully aware, okay? And if you're not fuel saving and you run out of fuel and you don't have enough to have a fuel sample at the end of the race, you know what, I'm not going to say too much because I know you've got the Aston Martin tyres. So I'm not going to say too much, yeah? But I just wanted to like highlight that. I just don't think I know people are like saying, well, Vettel got disqualified for not having a fuel sample. I think that's slightly different. But for me, the time it's taken for them to get to this decision, Mercedes at the end of the race still didn't have that rear wing back to have a look at it and see what went wrong. So just in case, what if it happened to the next wing that they ran as well? Like, what do we do then if we're not able to look at the wing?
And we didn't even get to Verstappen touching it.
Just not even. What's this guy doing? Guys, Paris tells me, why is Max Verstappen going up to the back of a car and touch it and just...
He was having a feel.
No consent, okay? There was no consent of him touching that Mercedes back off, okay? And he's gone up and he's caressed it. Why? Tell me why, Paris. Give me a reason.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't know. But he had a proper, like, he touched underneath. And even, I think, Christian Horner was like, he felt something different. There was something different between the two parts. I'm like, dude.
He was trying to gauge, so in the middle of the wing, there's a DRS actuator. I think he was trying to gauge the feel of it.
Yeah.
Or the feel, like how much flex was in what it was on.
Okay, so this also leads into the conspiracy theory a little bit as well, that apparently Adrian Newey was seen talking to the FIA before the whole disqualification thing. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying what was said. I don't know what was discussed.
Yeah.
But, you know, Verstappen had a little feelsy. Next thing you know, Adrian Newey's having a conversation and then they're disqualified.
Yeah, it's something's a bit fishy to me, man. When I hear Michael Massey talking to Red Bull, they're sounding very buddy to me, man.
It's
a bit strange.
Let's just get into it. Because I was like, we could go. We'll talk about the race.
No,
let's just skip, okay? And we'll come back to Lewis on the whole. But let's just get to this incident at turn 4, okay? Because I am beyond perplexed, okay? I'm going to set the scene for you guys at home. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton is hunting down Max Verstappen. He tries to move in turn 1. It doesn't come off. That's fine. He goes back behind Verstappen. He's got... Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. The weaving, by the way, like the blatant weaving across... he was weaving the moment they come out the back corner, the last corner. He's weaving all the way down that straight, which is not allowed. And then they go into turn 4. Hamilton is on the outside, similar to, I guess, a situation that happened in Hungary or Austria. I was going to say there's a couple of situations in Austria which got. I want to give a bit of balance, but the Perez and Norris incident in Austria, where Perez got a 5-second penalty. I think he done one on Leclerc, same race as well, didn't he? And he got 5 seconds.
Norris got the 5-second penalty.
Oh, is it Norris?
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but it was a similar kind of thing. They were battling, and Perez went wide and ended up in the gravel.
Yeah.
But obviously, in this situation, there was no gravel; it was runoff.
No, exactly. So, and then they try to go into the corner, and Max essentially opens the steering wheel, and they both go incredibly wide off track and come back. Now, Paris, watching that, let's put aside what we're saying about the FIA, and we'll get back to that. No bias, no whatever. Just looking at that incident, what were your thoughts? Did you think it was penalty worthy or not?
I feel like I need to come back, like you said, to the weaving.
Yeah.
Straight away, my first thought was dude, this guy is planting himself all over the track, but not in So basically, they say that you're only allowed to move once, when you're defending. You're only allowed to move once to defend your line. You could argue that Lewis was far enough back that, because he was still turning the corner when Max was already on the straight kind of thing. So you could argue that he wasn't close enough for it to be considered defending. But Max was defending. We know that Lewis was coming up close and he was coming up fast and he was defending. That's the reason he was weaving. He weren't weaving to warm his tyres. He was weaving to defend. So even from then, my eyebrows was raised. I was thinking, all right, he's going to do, I was saying Mad Max, he's going to do his Mad Max craziness.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously they go around and you could just tell that if Lewis was the type of person who did not defend in the way he does, they would have collided. And that would have been Max's fault because he was missing from the apex. There was even trying to.
100%. Tomi, I know you like cars, yeah? I know you're driving a lot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so when I was watching it, I immediately knew that he opened up the steering wheel. He wasn't trying to make the corner. He was trying to push Lewis wide. There was no lockup before the corner, so there was no reason for him to run wide. There was no shimmy of the car. There was no alteration on the steering wheel. He hadn't changed the diff. He hadn't changed the brake balance. He just ran wide. And I was watching it and I thought, I was even laughing. I was like, this guy's going to get a penalty. I said, he can't handle people overtaking him. He has to, look, I'm going to just say it straight up. He's done it here. He did it in Monza. This guy just cannot hack being overtaken, And even Toto Wolff said, look, for them, it makes more sense for both of them not to finish than for Lewis to overtake him. So it was a clear attempt to just push Lewis off the track and hope. I think he was hoping they would either collide or that Lewis would just run off and then not be able to catch him. Yeah. But to me, that was a dirty move. And I think it sets a bad precedent for younger generations and the junior formulas. And it also means all right, cool. If that's what can be done, why don't I just push people off every corner? It's mad.
It's what's crazy to me is that a man could make no attempt at making the corner. He's actually so wide that he's taken Hamilton even wider off the track.
Lewis was on the racing line and Lewis was in front of him. That's bonkers to me, man.
Crazy. But then we get into a situation with the FIA. And you're like, okay, cool. The FIA, they're going to look at this. Michael Massey, he's there. He gets a call from Red Bull. Let me tell you now, these men were flirting on radio.
I heard the call. I was like, what am I listening? And he was like, yeah, no, I agree with you,
I agree.
It's fine. And then even Red Bull said, yeah, thanks, Michael. And he was like,
thanks, Michael.
No problem. And can I just rewind to Belgium when at the end of the race, Red Bull was saying, oh, yeah, just let them race. Let's just go under the safety car and then end the race if we have to. Then at the end of the race, Red Bull on radio like, oh yeah, thanks Michael, thanks, that's a good race. And then Michael's like, yeah, no problem, yeah, it was nice talking to you. I'm like, you two are a bit too friendly for my liking.
Too friendly.
You're supposed to be an independent spectator, someone that judges what's happening on track. How are you independent when you're being bare friendly with them? But every time he talks to any other team, it's not like that.
He's rude. He's very rude when he's talking to anyone else, But you know what, yeah? He's like, them aunties, yeah, who like, they'll be nice to like one person will be able to like have that chat. Maybe you might be able to sweet talk everyone else, bro. Bare rude, bro. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm watching. I'm looking at my TV. These two are flirting on radio, and then he's like, okay, it's okay. We're gonna take a good look at it. Mercedes, cool.
But the stewards didn't look at it at all, did they?
It never even got to the stewards.
He said, Matthew
basically
said, no investigation necessary. Exact words, no investigation necessary, which means he didn't send it to the stewards to even get looked at.
Because if that went to the stewards, listen, that is a clear...
And that is exactly what I wrote. I was like, all right, that's gone to the stewards. Like straight away, before anything even came up, I was like, yeah, that's gone to the stewards. Cool, we'll see what happens with that. Nothing.
From time Paul Di Resta was saying it's a bad choice after the race. I was like, if my man, the ultimate Lewis hater, the ultimate Max fanboy, if he's saying that, this is mad. This is just so mad.
It's honestly, I don't think, I've been watching F1 for time, I don't think I've ever seen, like, for me, it's like blatant, like they're fixing this shit right now. Like, I literally can't think of any other reason. He didn't, and also, we need to get into this camera situation, because I'm starting to feel, I'm getting paranoid,
that's actually so wild. I really don't even understand.
Wait. The footage hasn't dropped yet, has it?
No. Bro, the footage hasn't dropped. Shout out to Curtis, editor of Autosport. He said that video is at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean right now.
It's gone.
That video is, bruv, I'm telling you now, release the tapes, release the Verstappen cut.
We're never getting that. We're never getting that. Do you know why we're never getting it? Because
they know he didn't.
It's even such to change. Listen, why did they show us the back? Why did they show us the back when Lewis was in front of my man, fam? Like, it makes no sense.
No,
I was watching that like, this is sus.
They have every single onboard of every single driver at all time. Wait, when you have Sky Q or Sky F1 or whatever, F1 TV, can you see the onboard? Like,
they flipped it to the back view.
So this is the thing. So you can only...
So you're watching it from the front and it just flipped to the back.
Yeah, that camera at the top does everything. So you can only look at one angle on one car at a time. So at that point, the director, for whatever reason, has decided to go...
He was like, you know what would be good? Lewis is in front of him. Let's give him the rear.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, just switch that. He's seen, bruv, he's seen what's about to happen. Yeah, he's gone, let's go to the rear. He's gone to the rear. Now, Michael Massey, you're telling Mercedes that you're taking a good look at it. You're flirting with Red Bull. We're going to look at it. We're going to take a good look into it. You've not even seen Max's onboard, okay? So there's no, like, for you to have taken that decision before the stewards have a chance to get to it.
And the stewards who elected this youth, fam? Like, who elected him? Why is he even running things, fam? Listen, I don't like the guy, man. Listen, Charlie would have never let this happen, fam. Oh my god, I'm not having
rest
it, bro.
In peace. Honestly, rest in peace, Charlie. Bro, he's turning in his grave right now. I can't believe what this guy. That was. Just putting everything aside, does that now mean at every corner, if you're on the inside, you can now just take someone completely off the track and carry on? And now Lewis has got to track you down with dirty tyres. Like, thank God Lewis is Lewis Hamilton, because anyone else that could have shaken them up, that could have taken them out of their stride. We've got to carry on using high engine modes now for a bit longer, that we probably, whatever. Like, it's ridiculous that, and then he gets the black and white flag. Lewis is already halfway past him, and he's getting the black and white flag.
And when he got the black and white flag, my man Max literally said, "Haha, tell them I said hi." I went, "No." I went, "This is a bit too muddy for my liking,
He's arrogant. He's so
He's
arrogant.
so
I'm
arrogant.
gonna let my whole anti-Max Verstappen thing fly because I
Let
feel
it
like
go.
it can
Let
run
it go.
on here. Like I'm not gonna lie. I keep it a bit fair and unbiased. Like
Yeah.
I keep it a
No,
little bit
that's good.
calm.
You guys
Every
are
so
great for that.
often, I will go wild, but I preface it with a massive disclaimer. I'm gonna let it
Yeah.
fly. He was so arrogant with it. Like he had done something that was flagrant. Like he was just like, I don't even care. Like no one's gonna tell me nothing for this.
He is being enabled. Okay. At some point, this brother has got to get a 10-second penalty, and it's got to
Bruh.
ruin his race
Bruh.
because, bro, this guy's crashing into people. He parked a car on Lewis's head. He walked off like he was in Asda. I mean, like he doesn't give a fuck. And then he's doing
Yeah,
this
no, I'm not having it,
yesterday,
man.
and he doesn't care, and because he just thinks this is what I can do. He's not getting 10-second penalties for it. He's not getting done over for it. So he's just like, I'm going to carry on doing it. Tommy, what do you think? Like, am I going mad? Are me and Paris going mad, or is Verstappen? Is he just moving mad with no cause for reaction or action on his
No, no,
on
no,
his
no.
ass?
He's moving mad, and he's being enabled by not only Red Bull, not only by his father, but also by the FIA. Like he's actually being enabled, and it's mad
Yeah,
to see. Like the stuff that he's doing would not fly in F2. Like it just would
yeah,
not fly.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
allowed to do it on Formula One, the biggest motorsport stage in the world, and you're allowed to be
yeah,
driving like that. That is mad. Like it's not
But do you
making
know
sense to
what
me.
sold it? Do you know what sold it was just the reaction from the commentators. For
yeah,
me, because even they were just
yeah,
like, that should be investigated. Like you could say, oh, an investigation's coming up. Like they were saying it themselves. And
Hmm.
like you
nah.
said, even Paul the Resta was just like, oh, okay,
Let me
probably
let
happy for Max that it
no.
didn't get investigated. But everybody knew what should have happened in that circumstance, regardless of. So Lewis didn't make the move stick. Like he didn't end up in front of Max for
Yeah,
long enough to say that he was, completely in front of
yeah,
Max. However, in defending and going offline, Max did gain a lasting advantage because he kept his place, he kept his position.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
yeah.
either way, like he should have either had to give the position back to Lewis for doing that, or he should have got a penalty. It's so clear cut. Like I don't the fans who are going against it, I really think that you guys are literally just on some vendetta against Lewis because this isn't about Lewis and
That's
Max.
it.
It's about racing. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way they did it is just wrong.
Do you know what I'm seeing? Do you know what I'm seeing a lot of? This isn't about, we want Max to win. It's we don't want Lewis to win.
Yeah.
That is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Up and down the paddock, even Alonso said, I'm trying to help Max. Help Max with what, fam? He's not your boy.
Bruv,
Like,
he's not your boy.
it's not making sense. Everyone is just, you know what it is? Everyone just doesn't want Lewis to win. So
Yeah.
everyone's against Mercedes. Everyone, from time his own teammate didn't want him to be winning. Like, it's just a bit ridiculous, fam. Like, imagine being Michael Jordan, yeah, and everyone, when Michael Jordan was at the peak of his career, everyone was like, this guy's the GOAT. Every team respected his
Yeah.
performance. Even though some people didn't like him, they still respected him. Formula One, nah. They don't like Lewis and they do not want him to win. They don't celebrate him as the GOAT. They try their hardest to make sure he's not winning. Even when I'm seeing FIA making mad decisions, I'm like, it's so obvious they don't want him to win. Like, they're not trying to hide it anymore. And it's a bit
No.
sad.
It's, you know what, yeah, I don't know how familiar you are, guys are with like some of the history of Formula One, but I actually watched the Senna documentary the other day, and great documentary, by the way. If you've not seen it, I'd highly recommend it for any Formula One fan. So Senna and Prost had that accident. They had an accident. I can't remember which year it was, but I think maybe the first. Yeah, I don't think he'd won a title yet, but he Senna and Prost go into the chicane at Suzuka. They kind of crash into each other, and then Senna gets helped out of the chicane by a marshal, and he goes on to win the race. He like comes back from well behind, wins the race, wins the championship, and then the FIA, because they like favour Alan Prost and they're French and whatever, basically they were like, you didn't come back onto the racetrack in the correct manner. But it was like, I was already off the track, I couldn't have come off anyway. Anyway, that is like, I remember watching that thinking, wow, they were fucking, that's cheating. Like the FIA have basically rigged it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But this was in like the late 80s. Of course, like, we're not as sophisticated then. There's not all the camera angles and whatever. Like it was a different sport. I'm sat here in 2021, yeah, and I'm watching with my very eyes the FIA rigging this championship, and I'm like, I literally cannot. I cannot sit by on this podcast, and we're 3 people. We watched it in 3 different houses, yeah, and we're saying this. Everyone online saying it. Like you say, if Sky F1, okay, if Paul di Resta, I was expecting Paul di Resta, by the way, condoned Max's like Monza accident, saying he had a right to go for that. I would have wanted him to go for that. If Paul di Resta thinks Monza is okay, but he thinks what happened yesterday was wrong, you know something is fucked here. Like, and I don't think it will ever come out, but I think it's at best it is incompetence of the highest order.
Trust me, and I'm not even a conspiracy theory guy, but it's like this isn't a theory, man. It's just straight up. This is what's happening. Yeah,
I think it's because what it is. Let's be honest. Even though Lewis has the most fans in the world, in the sense of like a lot of people who don't watch Formula One love Lewis.
Yeah.
Actually, within the Formula One community, the people who love Lewis is probably quite small in comparison. You know, we've seen this year, like pretty much at every other race except the US Silverstone and Brazil, he's been getting booed. Like he hasn't really been having the support of the crowd. So realistically, if you're taking global F1 fandom, although I actually reckon Japan probably would also be behind Lewis. A couple places that probably will have Lewis's back. The majority of Europe and the rest of those kind of fans, they're not behind Lewis. So the feeling,
and it's because he's black. Let's be straight up and just say it. That's it. These countries,
Let's just get to the shit.
These countries, very, 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 very large majority of people in these countries are racist. Let's just keep it straight up. Let's not dance around it. It's not because he's the best. It's because he's black. Because when Michael Schumacher was winning, it was all good. Do you know what I'm saying?
He got his 7 titles and no one told him that, maybe this time somebody else should win.
No one was like, it's just because he's in the fastest car. When this guy he had a whole tire company working for him. What, like, no one cares.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No one cares.
And literally, just because of that, what I think the FIA and Red Bull have taken upon themselves, they feel like they need to change the tide. But they're going by any means necessary to do that. And what it's doing is making a farce of the sport because it's now borderline, like it's so blatant. At first, all right, they changed the rules in the beginning of the year to make it fair or whatever. Cool, do your thing, because Mercedes can still do their engineering throughout the year. They can, and that's what they've done.
Yeah,
they have now risen to the challenge and they've made their car fast enough. So now, what can they do but put even more shackles on them and say, no, all right, cool, we've got to hold you down in different ways now. And it's got to the point where it's petty and it's like ridiculous technicalities that would not otherwise fly.
Yeah. Listen, for the FIA, they cannot have a black man be known as the most successful driver of all time with 8 championships and this many wins. It's just not. They don't want that. Like they need Michael Schumacher to always be their poster boy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Or they need to usher in their new golden boy, which they're clearly making, they're clearly billing Max as Sky every other second, putting Max and Lewis at the same level, the 2 F1 greats against each other. I know there's one who's got 7 titles.
My man hasn't even got 1 championship, bro. I swear, how many pole positions did he have before this year? Like 3? Like, what the hell is going on? It's not making sense.
Like it's not. It's literally not making sense. We had this issue early on in the week with F1 releasing the Still Max Rises thing. And it's like the disrespect on Lewis Hamilton by the sport, which they owe this man so much because it would be irrelevant. Okay,
he literally put Formula One on the map for millions of people. Let's keep it 110. There's so 100%. Many people that were not interested in Formula One until Lewis Hamilton started doing his thing. So, it's
hilarious. I saw today, we're going to, we've buried these, man. We do need to move on. But I saw today, ironically, F1 posted a tweet about all the celebrities who were congratulating Lewis Hamilton on his win. When for the last 3-4 weeks since the Megan Thee Stallion incident, all we've had is celebrities in F1 or they whatever. You know, we don't give a f about celebrities. Formula One's more important, but when Lewis is, you want to cut off Lewis's fame and showing, oh, look, all these celebrities watching F1. They're watching it because of Lewis Hamilton. Okay, and
Trust
you're
me.
clout chasing off the back of that. I can't stand these, man. I'm telling you now, this season, yeah, I want you guys at home, hear me and hear me good, yeah. When Lewis Hamilton wins his 8th title, we're gonna be insufferable, okay? Insufferable, because what they're trying to do to my man and the lengths and the things that he's had to overcome are ridiculous. But guys,
I hear that.
what we did witness on Sunday was, I mean, look, I'll let you guys. Paris, what do you think? How do you rank? I mean, look, how do you rank the sprint race and the race itself in terms of Lewis's performances? I guess let's just put them all into one. How do you rank Lewis's performances this weekend?
I mean, I definitely have recency bias just because my brain doesn't work the way I want it to work. I can't recall races. I've literally been watching Formula One since like I was probably about 5 years old. Yeah. And I've literally been watching Formula One avidly since I was about 15 years old. And nice. I promise you, if you ask me about any race, I will not be able to tell you. However, the feeling that I had this weekend was brilliant. I was just like on top of the world. I was so happy. I had 2 of my cousins chatting shit to me on Saturday night about like how, you know, Lewis has just got the fastest car. Da, 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 da. Yeah, they're on that train as well. Yeah, it happens. I don't really care. So I had 2 of them chatting crap and like sending them tweets on Sunday and even on Saturday after the race. Like I was just like, yeah, this is brilliant. And for me, I think it shut a lot of people up, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
100%, Tomi. He did, what did he do? So he done 20th to 10th on Saturday, and then 10th to 1st, and then a 10-second gap at the end of the race. Put into your own words, how are you feeling after watching that performance?
Yeah, no, it was spectacular. I think it's probably one of the greatest drives we've ever seen, you know, in Formula One. Across the weekend, definitely. It was just, do you know what really struck it for me? It was clean, not a single, nothing forced, no dirty moves, no moves like panicking. It was just clean, controlled, poised, and it was respectful. And I think it was definitely one of the drives that TV is always going to go back to. Is this is one of the greatest drives of all time. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mesmerizing to watch because it was just constant. It was like he was doing qualifying laps every single lap. Like, and to me, that's crazy. The last race that I saw he was performing like that was Hungary 2019, where he chased down Max.
Yeah.
That was mad. Or was it 2020?
Yeah, it's 2019. No, I think that's an underrated Hamilton victory. I love that. I love that win because, like you say, he had about 20 laps to basically get a 20-second gap down and then overtake at Hungary. So, incredible performance. I mean, we're looking at, I think, for me, the reason why it's so great is just the context that it's in, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I was putting out tweets like, it's fine, guys, let's keep the faith. And I was like 90% there. 10% of me was like, man, I was gutted. Like oh my God. So by the way, follow us on Twitter. You know, we talk a lot on Twitter. I didn't watch anything on Friday night. I didn't look at any F1 news until 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So I had no clue. So I'm just watching qualifying. I'm tweeting. I'm like, oh my God, we're on pole position. This is great. Everyone's like, no, look at the news. And I was like, oh my God, we've got fucking we're under investigation. Then we get disqualified. So you're like, okay, cool. No matter what happens, oh man, he went from 20th to 5th. Sorry. So no matter what happens, we're going to get a 5 grid like penalty. So I'm like, God, even if he makes up like, let's say he makes up 10 places, like, do you know what I mean? He's still okay. We're still going to start like 15th, and then you know, if we can, you know, we might get taken out in the first corner or whatever. And it felt like if this weekend, let's say, if we can only score like 5 or 6 points, Verstappen's going to be like 40 plus points ahead of us. And I was like, we're buggered here.
Yeah.
So with all of that on the line, putting his car where he was putting his car constantly, knowing that any mistake, any accident that he has could jeopardize his whole championship. And for it to end up as a win, I think it's one of his greatest drives of all time. Now you've watched this race, Tomi, do you think, I guess, how were you before the race? Were you always confident of the title of number 8, or were you having doubts? And I guess, how are you feeling now after having seen the performance, and obviously the standings are a lot closer.
I'm a realistic person, and I thought going into it, I thought it's going to take a madness to win. And then when he kept getting penalties and everything, I thought, you know what, this guy's going to have to just drive for his life. And then when qualifying happened and he got the penalty, I was like, yeah, okay, so here we go again. And then his sprint race killed it. I said, when I looked at the sprint race, I was like, I didn't match in my head. I was like, so 20 laps. And so we're taking 15 cars. And I did the maths, and I thought, you know what, this is actually possible. So when I saw him on the weekend driving, I had faith. The only thing I had faith in him. I didn't have faith in Max Verstappen letting him pass him. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought Max was just going to go, write him off. That's what I thought was going to happen. But
and he tried it.
Seeing that, he tried it. But seeing it now, I'm like, there's actually still hope. What's the deficit? 12 points?
12 points. Yeah, 12 points.
That's a sweet deficit to go into.
Oh, is it 14? Sorry, is it 14?
Okay, 14.
Oh, it's 14. Yes, it is 14.
So 14, basically Lewis needs to win every race.
Every race,
now.
yeah.
Or
I worked it out, yeah.
If he can win the next 2, how many races left? 3?
He has to win all 3.
So there's 3 races left. What have we got left? We've got Qatar.
We've
got Saudi Arabia, and we've got Abu Dhabi. So he has to in the Middle East. He's getting the beast of the Middle East. He's gonna have to kill all of them, So I think if he can come first in Qatar, which I have faith because it looks like a high-speed track. If he can come first in Saudi Arabia, again another high-speed track, then I think if he can do second or third in Abu Dhabi, we might be chill. But this is also just, can I just say, if Max Verstappen comes second in all those races, my man might come third, Bottas might make up.
Max has to, if Lewis wins 2, Max has to come, I think it's third or lower
in every race?
In the last race. So, so if Lewis only wins 2, Max has to do quite badly in one of the races, basically.
I can't lie. I have faith in Bottas, but you know what? Let's keep it straight.
You're getting a bit spicy now.
Bottas has pace. He has pace. He has pace. He just, as long as his head's in the game, he can do it. And I think they'll qualify first and second on the high-speed track. So Saudi Arabia and Qatar. I think they're going to qualify first and second there. I think there's a big chance that they will.
With Bottas, he has to want to help Lewis in that moment. Yeah. And sometimes you can see him thinking about, do I want to help Lewis or not?
Trust me. Early in the season, we wouldn't be in this predicament if early in the season Bottas let my man pass, because there were situations where he was fighting him, and I was like, it's a bit mad. This is your teammate, But I guess every man has his own pride, and they have a point to prove. But I think sometimes being a team player is more important than trying to be a star when you're not. It's like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You need your wingman. And some people are just born to be great wingmen. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not an issue, Just be really good at it. But Bottas, I feel, has tarnished his reputation by his behavior over this year. But I think that something has been said to him, because now, listen, my man's driving a bit better.
I think I can imagine he got bollocks for Mexico. Right.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They probably said, look, you need to start driving properly or you're out of this car this season, Because
I feel like as well, he has just accepted the fact that now he is no longer going to be driving for Mercedes. I think the Alfa Romeo contract has sweeted him. He's got a 3-year contract and he's happy. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is genuine happiness for him, because he's getting to stay in the sport. He's probably keeping a nice pay package. Mercedes probably gave him a nice little redundancy package as well. There's all sorts of things that are probably keeping his spirit buoyed. But I totally agree with you. I think he could make or break this championship as well. And similarly, Perez,
yeah.
like I'm a massive Checo fan, and I will always say that, like up front and center,
Yeah, I like
regardless
Checo
of
still.
the fact that I hate the fact that he is in Red Bull,
Yeah.
or like, should I say, I'm happy for him that he found a good seat, but I just hate Red Bull. So like
Checo's
I think
a good guy.
I'm super happy for him, but also the number 2 drivers in the next 3 races are going to play a massive part in this.
They are kingmakers.
100%.
They are. Also, on a note, it's crazy how Checo and Lewis have some of the best racing that we see all season, easily. But Max Verstappen is in an identical car. Max Verstappen is incapable of just clean racing with Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
but
because he's not a clean driver. That's it.
Like, he's not. All I want to say is, like, I want to put on record. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton. I am looking at what we've done with that engine. Obviously, we've come with an engine, and they're saying, right, there's only four races left. We're just going to turn the shit out of this engine. It's gonna be a high performance. We're gonna go for it. I think it's overdue. I think Mercedes could have pulled their finger out earlier in the season and brought some kind of upgrades or whatever. But they've gone down the road they've gone, and here we are. But I think that Lewis driving the way he has, that was like, I think it was you, Paris, but it was a statement. He's not. For people to think that Lewis Hamilton is washed, or Lewis Hamilton is over the hill, or see, like, guys, we are watching history. What we watched this weekend, was history. Like you said, they're going to be talking about this for years to come. They're going to be talking, when they talk about sprint races, they're going to be, anytime someone has a good sprint race, they're going to say, it's Hamilton-esque in Brazil. Like, and every time we talk about, when we're talking about championships, and let's say he does win this championship, we're going to look back on this weekend as a pivotal weekend in motorsport history, because the way that he performed, I think the crowd reaction to him and that relationship that he had with the crowd was such a heartwarming thing to see. Those images are images that we can look back on in 20 years' time, and Hamilton waving that Brazil flag and be like, that's history, that's F1 heritage. And it makes me sad that there's people who don't want to appreciate that, and there's people who just want to shit on it because they don't want Lewis to win it. It's fine. Look, I have no issue with Verstappen fans. There's Verstappen fans who we talk to on Twitter and who we get along with. We're fine. It's not, we don't have an issue with Verstappen fans per se, but what we do have an issue with, and we will never accept or will never tolerate or even understand, is just trying to diminish what we're watching in front of us, which is absolute greatness. And I'm so glad to be able to be here with you guys and talk about it and be like, this shit is awesome, man. Shit is incredible. Right, let's get into stars of the day. Paris, who's your star of the day?
Oh shit! Like, I mean, it has to be Hamilton.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did try at points to watch the rest of the field. I really did. Like, I genuinely had moments where I was like, okay, what's happening with Ocon and Alonso? They're having a little battle with Vettel. Oh, what's happened to Stroll? Stroll's at the back now. Okay. Yeah. I genuinely tried. But what was happening at the front of the race was just too eye-catching. Like, it was too awesome. I could not watch it. And therefore, I cannot not say Hamilton. Like, he just was the star of the weekend. He wasn't even star of the race. He was star of the weekend. He made the weekend what it was.
100%. I'm gonna give her. Well, you know what? Round of applause for Lewis Hamilton, man. Like, this guy, incredible. I fucking love this guy, man. Like, I'm in awe. I just can't believe we get to watch this guy week in, week out. Tommy, do you have a star of the day?
Yeah, it's the same thing, Lewis Hamilton. I think you can't watch that race and not pick anyone else. And when I saw the people voting for driver of the day, and I saw Max was in second, I was like, for what?
That vote is like the most ridiculous. I would love if they just got rid of it. Honestly, like,
it's not making sense.
It's just like, it's never it's hardly not never. It's hardly given to the person who I think is actually deserving of it, and
Yeah.
I just find it like I saw like Lewis Hamilton had like 36% or something. I was like, what? It's like, what are you guys
Man
watching?
bodied
What are
the
we
whole
watching
field, you
here?
know.
I think it
Like,
goes back to what I was saying about like actually the quantity of fans that genuinely really like
yeah,
and appreciate.
Mm.
Even some of the fans who may say, "Oh, I'm not a Max fan, but I still don't want Lewis to win." Like I
yeah,
think it kind of goes back to that kind of mentality. And like you said, it's really sad to see because it does diminish. I think people's actual appreciation of the sport if you can't genuinely see a great driver in front of you and say that that's a great driver.
yeah. Yeah, and also, if you're a racist prick, then you're just gonna have hate in your heart, and that hate is gonna eat you up. Kanye West said, "Hate niggers, marry hated bitches, and have hated kids." And that's gonna be your life.
100%.
That's gonna be your life, you racist motherfuckers. Anyway, we're living good, okay? No, no racist bone in our heart, and we're good. Okay, guys, you know what? For the sake of the format, I'm gonna go. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton. You know what? Oh. You know what? Yeah, I just want to say also, I think the 10 seconds Yuki got was harsh. Yeah, like I think Lance Stroll turned into Yuki at that corner when he could have given space. I think it was a bit desperate from Yuki and it was a bit late. But also, I think 10 seconds, I think 10 seconds for that was very harsh. And I just wanted to put that on there. FIA, I think he did a bad job this weekend. But I'm going to say, I don't like praising this guy, but we haven't actually spoken about him. I don't mind praising him, but we haven't spoken about uh, this guy or this team on the pod because Thandie hates them. So I can never. It's like getting blood out of a stone trying to talk to her about Ferrari. I'll mention them, and it's like she just don't want to talk about it, bro. So let's talk about Charles Leclerc. I'm going to say Charles Leclerc. I don't think he was the best driver of the day. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton was, but I want to pick up Ferrari. I think since the engine upgrade that they brought in, I can't remember when it was, but like 4 or 5 races ago, they've made a clear jump on McLaren. And I think they're demonstrably faster than them now. Leclerc and Sainz are always so close to each other, but I'm just looking at Leclerc finishing P5. He always seems to be there or thereabouts in a really good position at the end of the race. He seems to be getting the best out of that car. 2022, are Ferrari going to win the World Championship?
No? The hell? Kind of stupidness is that? Ferrari winning the world. Every time there's been a change of regulations, has Ferrari ever been at the front? Unless the regulations are changed for them, nah, they're not winning it, man.
So you don't think I don't know the engine that
I
they
have
put.
no predictions for next year at all. I'm waiting to see I want to see in testing how that car races before I make any predictions.
Let me tell you something.
It's going to be different next year.
The engine doesn't matter next year. It's not about the engine because everyone's developed this V6 engine to the peak of performance. The engines are basically level now. They're just at different wear rates. But listen, next year is about aerodynamics, and next year is about team fluidity and team dynamics. And Ferrari, they're not quite there yet. But I think they'll do well. Yeah. But I don't think that they're there yet.
You don't think?
And also, I think some of the other teams. I'm not saying they're going to be like on Ferrari or even McLaren, or definitely not Mercedes and Red Bull's level. But what should I say? Maybe they'll be on Ferrari and McLaren's level. For example, Otmar's just hired like 800 people for Aston Martin and stuff. So Lance Stroll's hired 800 people for Aston Martin. So you can't discount the amount of development that is going into next year. It's going to be peak. Like I think what we've seen this year is no indication at all of what's going to happen next year. Haas have been developing their next year car all year.
From last year, man.
Literally.
They've been more on the board to me than it looks like Red Bull been on the board,
Well, Red Bull, I've been on record saying we've basically put, I think they changed their stance later in the end of that. Well, obviously we've been working on 2022, but it's obviously clear that a lot of resources have gone into this car. They've been upgrading this car throughout the year. So I'm almost expecting Red Bull to be like around third or fourth fastest next year. They're always quite good at developing through a season, so I reckon by the end of the season they may have caught up slightly, but I can't see a situation where Red Bull come out of the box with the same pace that they've had this year. I reckon Mercedes will do well because, well, I would hope so, because the way that they basically said that they're not developing this year's car and they were putting everything on next year's car, I would fucking hope so that next year's car is a beast, because this W12 has been an absolute pain in the ass until recently.
I think you know what, the W12, it's actually a quick car. It's like it's fast, but it doesn't make sense to focus on this year. It just doesn't. When the new regulations are going to last for several years, it's like it doesn't make sense. I respect the fact that they made that decision and didn't try fight for this, like farcical season title that we have now. But hopefully they can still get it this year and they can just keep doing what they're doing. But the way the FIA is moving, let's see if it's allowed.
We'll see. We'll see how these men are moving next year. Okay, let's get into. I wanted to pick up Charles Leclerc. Well done. Who do you rate higher, Charles Leclerc or Max Verstappen?
You know what? I rate Charles high. I can't lie. I put, because Charles has had less years in the sport, and he seems to be a more mature driver, and he seems to be more, like in tune with just focusing on driving and not like being
a prick.
Exactly. And you know what I like about Charles? Like, this is early on in his career, and he's still very, very good. He got several wins over his time at Ferrari, and I just think he'll be a better champion than Max Verstappen. You know what I'm saying?
I think I would trust Charles more in wheel-to-wheel combat and in actually he's a bit mad still. Actually, I'm not like, he does have moments. Paris, what are your thoughts, Charles or Max?
I'm not gonna lie, I like Charles Leclerc more for all of the reasons Tomi said. I think he has had a really good entry. He's done a couple of years at Sauber, a couple of years now at Ferrari, and I think he's had a really good entry into the sport. Like he's made a really good name for himself. But I think, as much of a dickhead that Max Verstappen is, he does have a slight technical advantage over Leclerc, in that when he's not being Mad Max and driving like a crazy person, he actually does sometimes make those calculated moves and calculated decisions. And I don't think Charles has developed that just yet. But I think Charles will develop that, and I look forward to seeing him be a champion way more than I look forward to seeing Max be a champion. But at the moment, I think Max is the better driver.
I think my problem with Charles is that Charles, when he's in a position to do well, can make mistakes. The mistakes that he makes. I'm thinking that he's crashed in Azerbaijan. Once in practice. I think the other time was in practice as well. Was it in qualifying? But
Monaco, I think it was in Monaco.
Monaco as well this season. There's been
that Monaco crash. Can we not act like it was a mistake, please? Like, I think everyone's beyond that now, because it was very clear that it wasn't a mistake. My man saw the corner and went.
That's even more like, it's just like he just does stuff sometimes. Someone said to me that Charles Leclerc's like a himbo. I can't remember who said that, but he really is. Like, he's a proper little. I feel like sometimes there's a bit of air up there. So he needs to get knocked out.
Some of the videos they put out of Ferrari, like he's like, his general like knowledge of stuff is like really like to the point of, you'd be like, are you, like, if that was your boy, like, are you all right? Like, what are you talking about? So I get the himbo thing. I think I would love I would love Ferrari to be up there next year. I'd love for like a 3-team kind of fight. Would be cool. I'd love to kind of see. I'd love to see that Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz kind of rivalry. If they were fighting for wins and stuff like that, because I know Charles is the golden boy. I think Sainz with a year in that car.
Signed 1 year. He's not even a year. He's only done 20
Yeah,
races, like
yeah,
19 races. I think that people are gonna have to acknowledge Signs next
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I
100%.
think that they're gonna have to, because do you know what really annoys me though? I don't
Yeah.
know if Signs is racist or not, and it really stops me from getting behind him
Yeah,
wholeheartedly
he
because
will.
I've heard things, and then I'm just like, I really can't support people who are racist, obviously, for obvious reasons, and
Fam, it's by
it
Max Verstappen, bro.
genuinely, I feel like, but you know what? I want people to also understand that as a human being, that really can affect like your opinion on things, because obviously I cannot get behind someone who is racist, but I really sometimes want to get behind Signs because I think,
Yeah.
obviously Leclerc gets all of the love and rightfully so, like he's a good driver and stuff, but Signs is very good.
Let me ask you
Very
a question,
good.
yeah? Lewis is
Sure.
retired. You have a championship winning team. Who are you picking as your 2 drivers? Of anyone in the field.
Oh, it's a good one.
Current field?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I can't do it. I'm gonna go with Charles Leclerc. I was gonna say Max, but I just couldn't do it. I'm gonna go with Charles Leclerc, and I'm gonna go. If you'd asked me before Russia, I would have said Lando Norris. But Lando's form has. I think he's. I still think there's a lingering thing about Russia and not getting that win. And I think his form is not as good. Or Daniel Ricciardo is doing slightly better now. So the discrepancy between the two of them doesn't look as mad. But you know what? Fuck it. Lando. I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. What about you guys?
Paris, how about you?
I genuinely would have said the exact same two people.
Yeah.
And similarly to Nyasha, like I literally, I think Lando's going through it at the moment mentally, and he's learning the things that Lewis learned a long time ago. So I think if he can kind of get on top of his mentality in the next few years, he's going to be a great driver. That was the only thing. I would have possibly said like George Russell as a potential, but my issue with George and why I wouldn't say him is because we haven't seen him in a better car. We've heard that he's really good, but we haven't actually seen the goods other than Sakir, and obviously we know what happened with that, and there's an anomaly. I need to see some consistent drives. With Norris, we have hard data, and
Yeah.
we
That's
know that
interesting.
Norris can perform. So
That's interesting.
I would definitely say Leclerc and Norris. Similar to you, I can't say Max. I love Checo, but he's not a championship winning
How come
driver.
neither of you said Max? Because you guys, Paris, you said that Max is a better driver than Charles Leclerc. Like, so I'm trying to understand, like, why did you pick Max?
Because I hate him, bro. I can't be his boss.
No,
And
I'm
that's
saying, no, this irrespective. Like,
Oh,
if
okay. Irrespective, Max Verstappen
no,
and
but
Charles
think
Leclerc.
about it. Are you actually picking Max Verstappen to be in the same team as Charles Leclerc? You're
Oh,
not
wait.
doing
So
They're
I
it.
have
just gonna
to.
crash. They're just
No,
gonna.
yeah. Okay, so I have to. We're not just
Who would you
talking
rather
like
have, Charles Leclerc or Max Verstappen?
I'll have to have Max, but
Max.
then who do you pair with Max? Because then it's like second driver syndrome
Yeah.
again. So
Yeah.
it's like he's just headache. Whichever way you go with it, like that's
Yeah.
why him and Horner are made for each other.
Who are you
He's
two,
headache.
Laser?
My two, I'll pick George Russell,
Yeah.
and I would probably pick of the current field, maybe George Russell, and gonna sound mad, but Esteban Ocon, I would pick that, I would pick that. It's gonna sound mad.
That's actually kind of wild, but like it kind of makes sense.
You know why it makes sense?
See them two as
Do you know
good,
what
good
sense?
teammates.
Let's keep it 110. George Russell bodied everyone, all of the rookies on the grid. He's bodied them in the junior formulas. The man's quick. The man got in a Mercedes one weekend. The man didn't even fit in the car. Bodied Bottas, bro. The guy is fast. Let's not get it twisted, because I think we're kind of skewed. Because obviously we're Lewis fans, and a lot of people are using this George Russell concept as, he's going to show Lewis up.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, we know it's not the case, but it's irritating. So people don't like George Russell. But George Russell is a cold driver, and he's a team leader. Bang. George Russell, Esteban Ocon, he's a very good driver, and he knows how to be a wingman. Standard, cold team. That team is cold, bro. That team is so cold.
To be fair, similar to the reason why I can't choose Max, I similarly can't choose Alonso.
Yeah,
but he is on the current field.
Let's not talk about it.
No. He is a cold driver as well. Like, dickhead or not, mad reasoning behind his actions towards Lewis this year or not, Alonso is one of the best drivers on that field. And if you put him in a championship winning car, he's winning championships.
I don't know, man, because he was in a championship winning Ferrari, and my man didn't win a championship.
Man
has 2 championships. He was in a championship winning McLaren, and my man didn't win a championship.
But that was only because Lewis won the championship.
No. When Lewis and Alonso, the issue with Alonso is his ego. His ego.
He was crazy that year.
He drives with his ego.
Yeah,
he was doing blackmail and shit that year.
A man with 2 championships, I beg. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
But he is like, as a driver, if you take away his crazy mentality, he's a cold driver.
Yeah, he's a cold driver. But I feel like Russell would body Alonso. I just feel like he would. Like, there's something about Russell where it's not only raw pace, he has such a driver's, team leader's mentality. The man is so ride or die for his team. I feel like if Williams said, George, we need you to pull over and end the race because we think it will give Nicholas a better chance of doing this, my man would stop the car and get out, bro. He's such a team player, and that's what you need when it comes to it.
I don't know about that. I actually don't know about that, because the one time we heard him say, "I'll do anything for Latifi, like sacrifice my race, do what you got to do for Nicky." He was blatantly doing that because he knew he was getting that Mercedes seat, and he was trying to show that he could be a team player.
Do you know why I can't agree with that? Because the drivers don't know what's going to get put out on the radio. They can say they say a lot that we don't hear. So he didn't know that exact line was going. But I genuinely think, from what I know of this guy,
he didn't care about it going out on the air. He knew it was getting back to Toto. That's the only person he needed to impress at that time.
He already knew he was in the seat. You're going to come them times. I'm telling you, man, the guy's cold, and we'll see next year, because next year we're going to see Mercedes 1-2s and cold, and I bet you that George Russell will be willing to let Lewis drive past him easily. He's not going to argue with it. Do you know these? And it's funny because a lot of these men look up to Lewis, and they try and hide it. But George Russell, he's the only one that doesn't try and hide it, fam. He's like, Lewis is the G, fam.
Him and Pierre are on Lewis. They don't care.
Do you know what I'm saying? And all the other players, Lando Norris, let's keep it 110. My man looks up to Lewis. His number, he picked 40 for a reason, bro. He loves Lewis Hamilton, fam. Like, all these youngers, they love him out. Even Alex Albon, but they just don't try and... Imagine you're a British kid coming up in Formula One, and you see a British guy winning, you're going to support him. They're just pretending like they don't now because they're in the same league. But listen,
Lando also cannot tell a joke to save his life because he just sounds like an arsehole when he tells them.
I think if you listen to it like he's an asshole, you think he's an asshole. But if you listen to it like, okay, he's being sarcastic. Like what he said about Lewis the other day, I watched it, I was like, why is everyone complaining? Because my man literally was saying like a joke. He was like,
exactly. That's it. He just doesn't know how to close jokes, and I think people take it the wrong way. So that's what I'm saying. He sounds like an asshole. But I genuinely think that is in his mind, that is his way of showing admiration for Lewis.
Yeah, I think he's...
You know what I mean?
He's very self-deprecating. And the thing with self-deprecation is, like, when you're putting yourself down, you have to really put yourself down and not diminish the other person. But what he done was he was trying to take the piss out of himself, but really he was just diminishing what Lewis done. So people are like, "What, bruv? That was a sick move." And he's like, "Oh, it's fine. I didn't even move out of the way, but you clearly got overtaken very clearly." And I think he wanted to take the piss out of himself, but he just the way that he done it,
he definitely did.
and,
it's just his humor.
But also,
I don't mind Lando Norris's humor. I get it because
I think
you have common sense. That's why.
Yeah, I think that I think when it comes to Lewis, I think he needs to choose his words more carefully, just because of the way that he can say things will get taken the way that they get taken, and the more he does it, the more he looks like he just doesn't want to let Lewis have praise rather than diminish himself. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was going to say something with Russell. We'll see next year. Like you say, Mercedes are going to be strong next year. You'd hope so. Potentially could be another 2020 situation. So let's see with Russell. I think Mercedes have been very clear in that, he's coming in to learn from Lewis. He's and I'd expect Lewis to be kind of the same distances that, Verstappen and actually kind of the same distances he's given to Bottas at the moment. I kind of expect them to be that close. I think if he's 2-3 tenths off, that's fine. Like, I think that's okay for the first season, but I do expect him to have some good results. I just hope that it's a harmonious relationship. I think what he's going in there for and what the British media want him to go in there for are two completely separate things. And I think that's why I didn't want to put him in my team, because I think until I see George in the Mercedes seat and what he's actually like, then I'll be able to fully put my support behind him. For now, I'm definitely wary about
I agree
what he's going to bring, but I'm excited. I think that is, if it is harmonious, I think that is equal, if not better than Leclerc Sainz. If those two, if Russell comes in and does what we all think he can do, then I think those two are the strongest drivers.
It's gonna be a great team. I can tell you're gonna see it's gonna be a great. There may be a few errors here and there, or a few crashes, and George is definitely gonna have a few races where he's gonna be faster than Lewis, because it just happens sometimes. There's Bottas where he's a few races gonna be faster. But I'm telling you, George Russell is cold, and I would be willing to put money down on George Russell having a championship in the next 3 or 4 years. 100%. How long is his contract?
I kind of can't wait until we see. I know Lewis has got until 2023, so I'm assuming George's is similar.
Yeah.
I really can't wait, honestly. I love Lewis being in the sport, but I also am very interested to see the dynamics of the sport when Lewis leaves. Because I want to know how they're going to deal with diversity. Like, so many things I want to just see. I want to see who they're going to hate. Like, who you lot going to make your villain? Because one of them people on that grid is going to have to be the villain. It can't be Lewis anymore. It's going to have to be somebody else.
Crazy. I guess it'll be. I can see it being George, because if Mercedes
100%, it'll be. He's got a big target on his back. Then
George is going to be the guy that, and I guess whoever goes. I mean, we just don't know, do we? I mean, it's going to be a weird sport once Lewis leaves, because he's such a focal point for everything, for love, for hate, for discrimination, for, like, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's all the bad things as well. That's the thing. I'm struggling to think of, like, what are these races going to do with their time now? Like,
do you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, a nigger-free sport. I love that shit. That's exactly what they're going to be like, I can enjoy Formula One again. You're going to see Formula One numbers start going mad. Everyone's going to be like, like, no one's dirtying up the track and doing it. I guarantee you, when he goes, everyone, the sport, everyone, all the fans are going to be like, oh, this is amazing. Finally he's out. Or it's going to be exactly like that. And it's sad, but that's exactly what it's going to be like.
One thing we're definitely going to see, though, in the beginning of 2022, I reckon for at least the first 5 races, is we're going to have to deal with the noise of the media discussing Lewis and George.
I know. I'm not looking forward to that.
Than Max, and it's going to be way worse than Max and Lewis this year.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the first half of the season? They kept even for Max was just like, why are you asking me stupid questions? Like they kept trying to like
create
cause
a
the flames,
rivalry.
fan the flames, and cause the
Yeah.
fight. And I feel like it's going to be 10 times worse with
Yeah, they're
George
definitely gonna do that.
because and George has to like keep tunnel vision and maintain like not let all of the stuff that they're gonna say feed his ego and cause a fracture and all that kind of stuff. Like Toto's gonna have a real handle on the two of them because at the end of the day, as much as people are not gonna like it, George is coming into Lewis's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercedes is Mercedes, blah blah blah. They're a whole team, but it's Lewis's team. Man's a 7-time, hopefully by then 8-time world champion, and he needs his
Amen.
respect. Like he's the number one driver.
Yeah.
So he is gonna get dibs on everything. He's gonna have the best mechanics. He's got his team that he's been with for how many years and all this kind of stuff. And people are gonna have to accept that George is number 2.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And he can't get gassed. I felt like a little part of him. We've seen it where I think he's let people gas him up. I thought how he reacted in Imola was very telling after the crash with Bottas. I felt like when he was like kind of smirking through the interviews when they kept asking him about the contracts, and he was like, well, I'll definitely be driving a Mercedes next year. And, when someone's like, when someone's flirting with you and they're like trying to make out they're not gonna get with you, but it's gonna happen at some point. And it's just like this guy, like we can tell what you're doing. I found that a little bit unprofessional, but hopefully he doesn't let the hype get to him. He doesn't let people get in his ear, and we go from there. Guys, real quick, any donkeys of the day? I'm trying to go through this grid right now.
I think obviously Lando had contact on the first lap.
Lando, yeah.
But at the same time, as much as we've just been chatting him up because he is a good driver and stuff, like we said, he's declined a lot over the past few races, and he only went away with 1 point this weekend.
I wouldn't say that clash. I don't necessarily think it was entirely his fault. It was just
I don't really think it was, but like he obviously then couldn't come back. So
but giving him donkey of the day when we have Nikita Mazepin on the track is a bit wild to me. I'm saying like I don't even know why. I don't know why you even have this donkey of the day thing, fam. Man's finishing 50 seconds behind his own teammate. Listen, let's keep it 110. It's Nikita Mazepin, like.
But Nikita every week.
He finished in front of Mick Schumacher this weekend, and he said it was
Mick Schumacher DNF'd.
Mick Schumacher, Mick Schumacher, he did not DNF. He had a broken wing at one point.
Oh, what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear it. Look, guys.
It took my man driving around the track with a wing under his car for his teammate kept passing him. That is mad, fam. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look, I'm always here for Mazepin's Lando. I guess my donkey of the day, I'm looking at the grid. There's no one really. I was so, like you, Paris. I was so engrossed with what was happening at the front. I don't think there was anyone who I could probably say I would give it to. I'm going to give it to the FIA. I'm going to give it to Michael Massey. I don't like the flirting with Red Bull.
Or making decisions before you've seen the footage.
Any footage, and then coming out afterwards and saying, "Oh yeah, it may have been punishable if I now I've seen the onboard and all of these things." And it's just like, honestly, incompetence of the highest order, at best. At worst, I don't know if you guys have seen that Bad Sport documentary on Netflix. Highly recommend it if you haven't. But there's a lot of fuck shit happens in sport that we don't know about, man. And all it takes is one whistleblower or someone to just blow the lid and to say, yeah, this is what we were doing. And we'll be like, oh my God, we were watching that in real time. Because that decision not to send that turn for incident.
Where's Cyril? I feel like, is his name Cyril?
Cyril, the Renault guy.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be the good whistleblower. I feel like he'd be he would scream.
He just constantly looked pissed off, didn't he? Like he constantly annoyed.
Like he has some stories.
Probably does. Probably just didn't want to work with Alonso. Probably just thought, saw this guy. You know what? I'm done. Right, guys. Let's leave it there. But I guess finally, gun to your head, politely. Tomi, who's gonna win the title?
If I say Lewis, if I say anyone but Lewis, I'll be a snake. So I have to go with Lewis. The way he's been driving, and his experience. I, I think the only thing that will stop him is being crashed into by Max Verstappen. Yeah.
Yeah, fair play. No, sorry, you said that, and I just said it. You heard it so calmly, but like you're 100% correct. Like, we really have to be careful about this shit, man. It's fucking crazy. Paris, who's your money
Um,
on?
gun to my head, you lot are gonna have to shoot me because honestly, I don't want to say simply because I have that kind of tongue where as soon as I say it, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So I don't want to say it
Okay.
because I want it to happen. So I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to see what happens in the next 3 races.
Okay. I take. I was ready to play this.
No.
Okay, cool. Thank
No,
God.
not for that reason.
Okay.
I really don't want to jinx it, and there's not enough wood I could touch in the world that would make me not jinx it.
Yeah, fair play. No worries. Look, Lewis is going to win the league. Lewis is going to win the title. I think what we've got in the next 3 races are. I hate the term 3 cup finals because there's no cup finals in motorsport, and we're even saying a football match is a cup final is a cliche in itself. But we really do have 3 races which, if someone DNFs or if there's an incident between the 2 people at the front, it will drastically change the destination of the title, and it just makes this season a ridiculous season. That it's crazy we only have 3 races left. I can't believe it, but it's going to be exciting. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. We'll give you both a round of applause. You guys, incredible. Thank you so much, man. Absolutely loved having you guys on. Where can we find you? Paris, where can we find you on social media and all of them things there?
I am one half of On the Chicane, so my co-host Mariam, who is actually at home ill this evening.
Yeah.
So shout out Maz, I hope you're feeling better. We run On the Chicane. We do editorial content on the web, and we do post-race commentary just like this. So please check us out on YouTube. We are a YouTube channel, not a podcast. So we're not currently on any pods, but we are on YouTube, and we are on Instagram and Twitter, and it's just at On the Chicane.
And look, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Maz. Tomi, name change, because people would be like, I recognize this guy, but it was Taser, but now, and Tommy's that's your name, right?
Yeah, that's my name. Just
your name, full front out there.
Yeah, I'm taking it. Yeah. Yeah, my socials are just Tomi Music everywhere.
Nice. Tomi Music everywhere. Go check him out. Guys got bangers for days. It's crazy. Congratulations on all of the success you've had recently, on getting married, of course. And yeah, follow Tomi, follow Paris, follow me.
Oh, wait, can I just make a statement? Oh,
yeah, shoot.
I went to Sandown Daytona go-kart track, and the only person above me on their all-time leaderboard, can I just say, in that same car, there was Lando Norris and Damon Hill. They're the only 2 people that are above me.
Wow.
If you go there, you can see on the leaderboard, Tomi Music. No.
Do you know
what? Before anyone says anything about driving, man knows how to drive.
You know how to drive. You know what, yeah? What's funny about that is that Thandie went to the very same go-karting place, and Thandie literally said, like, she was like, oh yeah, I was like, she's like, I was like Lando Norris around there. She said I was beating the professionals, and I was like, okay.
So, is her name on the leaderboard?
Look, we definitely believe her. It's not like Thandie to embellish the things that she says ever. So, of course. And look, guys, Thandie's going to be on. We're going to do a one-on-one chat with Thandie, and we're going to, I think she just wants to, she said she was just going to send me a 10-minute voice note. And I was like, look, let's get you on video, and we can just have the rant about the FIA together. So that will be coming later after this. But guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to us. We are called Quickstop F1. I was about to say Munch Club TV. That's me, if you like food. But Quickstop F1 is the thing. Subscribe, leave a like. Thank you for listening. Leave a Apple review if you like those podcasts. If you're listening just through your ears, thank you. We will see you after the next race in Qatar. God knows what's going to happen there. We've never been there before. But until then, thank you very much for listening. Take care. Goodbye. Bye.